My dear friends, good evening, everyone, and thank you very much for accepting the invitation to participate in the G7 outreach session here in Puglia under Italian presidency. We didn't choose this place by chance. We chose it because Puglia is a southern region of Italy and because it is a land that has historically represented a bridge between West and East, a place of dialogue in the Middle Sea that through Northern Africa and the Middle East connects the two great maritime spaces of the globe, the Atlantic on one side and the Indo-Pacific on the other. This place and this wide outreach that we wanted to invite are a clear message from the G7 under Italian presidency. We will never accept the narrative that wants the West against the rest. We know we can only deal with the global challenges we are facing if we are able to cooperate with respect and with a peer-to-peer approach. Among the many global challenges that we are called out to face, in this period we decided to dedicate the outreach session to those that we consider very pressing. Artificial intelligence, first of all, with the opportunities it opens up and the risks it hides. The Mediterranean, an area of crisis and a place of dialogue. The African continent, with which we work to build a completely new cooperation as equals, and obviously the need to deal without ideological approaches with climate change, which impact above all on the nations of the global south. We will have two keynote speakers to start our work. His Holiness Pope Francis, who gave us the great honor to participate in our working session and will share with us his point of view on artificial intelligence. It is the first time that a pontiff participates in a meeting of the Group of Seven, and this inevitably makes today's appointment a historic moment. So I will never thank you enough for being here, Your Holiness. And then we will have His Excellency Mohamed Ould Ghazouani, President of Mauritania and rotating chair of the African Union, who will bring the point of view of African nations on the expectations of the continent. I stop here. Thank you again, Your Holiness. The floor is yours.
Grazie tante.
Many thanks for your attention. I here have two versions, the long one and the short one. I'll read the short one, and that's all. Artificial intelligence is a fascinating tool and also a terrifying one. I wish to greet all of you, all the leaders of the Intergovernmental G7 Forum, and I wish to greet the Honourable Giorgia Meloni. I greet the Secretary of the European Union, and I greet presidents, kings, all those who are present here with us today. I would like to speak about the effects of artificial intelligence on humankind. The Holy Scriptures say that God gave to human beings His Spirit in order for them to have wisdom, intelligence, and knowledge in all kinds of tasks. Science and technology are therefore extraordinary products of the potential which is active in us human beings. From the use of this creative potential, it was that God made it possible for artificial intelligence to emerge. As we know, this is an extremely powerful tool which is used in many areas of action, from medicine to labor, from culture to the communications, from education to politics. And we can take it for granted that its use will influence in a growing way our social interaction, our way of life, and in future also the way in which we understand our identity as human beings. The issue of artificial intelligence, however, is often seen as ambivalent. On the one hand, it excites us because of the possibilities it affords. On the other hand, it generates fears because of the possible consequences. We cannot, in any case, doubt that the advent of AI represents a true revolution in cognitive and industrial terms, which will contribute to the creation of a new social system characterized by profound epochal changes. For example, AI make it possible to achieve a democratization of access to knowledge, exponential development of scientific research, and the possibility of making machines carry out most demanding tasks. But at the same time, it could bear with it more injustice between advanced countries and developing countries, between dominant social classes and oppressed social classes, thus endangering the possibility of a culture of encounter and lead to a culture of discarding others. Obviously, what happens with these transformations is linked to the rapid technological development of AI itself. This forceful technological progress makes AI a fascinating and tremendous tool at the same time, and requires a reflection which is up to the task. And in this direction, we could start from the acknowledgement that AI is first and foremost a tool. And it is spontaneous that the benefits and the damage it will cause will depend on the way in which it is used. This is something which is definitely true, because this has occurred for every tool the man has assembled and made use of from the dawn of time. This ability of ours of making tools in growing amounts and complexities unparalleled by any other beings leads us to speak of a techno-human condition. The human being has always engaged in the relationship with the environment, mediated by the tools which they have gradually produced. We human beings live in a condition of otherness with regard to our biological sphere. We are tilted towards the outside of ourselves and theoretically open to others. And this is the origin of our opening to others and to God. And hence arises the creative potential of intelligence in terms of culture and beauty. Hence derives our technical capability. Technology is thus a trace of this otherness, of furtherness of ours. However, the use of our tools is not always singly addressed towards the good. Even if the human being feels inside themselves a vocation to the beyond and to the use of instruments and tools to the benefit of our brothers and sisters in our common home. This is not always what happens. And in fact, often because of its radical freedom, humankind has disrupted the goal of its being and become an enemy of itself and an enemy of the planet. The same things can happen with technological tools. Only if we guarantee their vocation in the service of human beings will technological tools not only reveal the greatness of human beings and also the mandate they have received to nurture and to be stewards of the planet and all its inhabitants. To speak of technology means speaking of what it means to be human, and therefore our unique condition between freedom and responsibility. It means, therefore, addressing the issue of ethics. We cannot separate these things, and this is even more important with AI, which is one of the most complex tools there have been, and we could also say that this is a unique tool. We need to remember that machines with these new means produce algorithmic choices, and what the machine does is a technical choice and is based on well-defined criteria or on statistical inferences. The human being not only selects, but in their hearts are capable of deciding. Because of this, faced by the prodigies of machines which seem to be able to choose independently, we have to see clearly that the human being must always hold the decision, even with the dramatic and urgent characteristics with which these often arise in our lives. We will condemn humankind to a hopeless future if we were to remove from people the ability to decide about themselves and about their lives, condemning them to depend on the choices of machines. We need to guarantee and protect a significant area of control for human beings over the process of decisions of AI programs. The human dignity itself depends on this. On this issue, I wish to stress that in dramas like armed conflicts, it's important to rethink the development and the use of devices like the autonomous lethal weapons to banish their use, starting by a real and concrete decision to introduce greater and more significant human control over them. No machine should ever decide whether to take the life of a human being away or not. Placing human dignity in a central position in view of a shared ethics. To what I've said, I wish to add a more general observation. The season of technological innovation we are living in it takes place alongside a special and unique social situation. We find people losing their way, or at least we see a darkening of the sense of humanity, and the concept of human dignity being reduced to insignificance. And it is thus in this season that AI programs question human beings and their actions, and it is the weakness of an ethos which is connected with the perception of value and the dignity of the human being, which risks being the greatest wound in the implementation and development of these systems. We should not forget that no innovation is neutral. No innovation is neutral, I repeat. Technology is born for given purposes, and in its impact with human society always represents a form of order in social relations and a disposition of power which enables some to carry out actions and prevents others to carry out other actions. This constituent dimension of the power of technology always includes, more or less explicitly, the world vision of those who have developed and established these tools. This also applies to AI programs. In order for them to be instruments for the construction of the good and for a better future, they must always be directed to the good of every human being. They must have an ethical inspiration. The ethical decision is what takes into account not just the outcome of an action, but also the values involved and the duties which derive from these values. And this is why I reacted favorably in 2020 to the Rome Call of Ethics and signed it, and supported its support to an ethical moderation of algorithms and programs in the plural context in which various sensitivities occur and plural hierarchies in the scale of values. It would seem difficult to locate a single hierarchy of values, but in an ethical analysis we can also resort to other types of tools. If we find it difficult to define a single set of global values, we can, in any case, find shared principles with which to address and overcome possible dilemmas or conflicts in our lives. And finally, a politics which we need. We cannot ignore there is a concrete risk which is inherent in the fundamental mechanism of artificial intelligence, and that it might limit the vision of the world to realities which are expressible only in numbers or enclosed in pre-packaged categories, excluding the contribution of other forms of truth and imposing anthropological, socio-economic and cultural models which are uniform. The technological paradigm embodied in artificial intelligence runs the risk of opening up to a much more dangerous paradigm, which I've already identified with the name of the technocratic paradigm. And this is where it is important for you to act politically. As the encyclical Old Brothers reminds us, quoting, "Certainly, for many, politics today is a bad word, and we cannot ignore that behind these facts there often are errors, corruption, inefficiency in some politicians." Not all, some. And to this we add the strategies which are directed to weaken it and to replace it with the economy or to dominate it with an ideology. And yet, how can the world operate without politics? Can it find an effective way towards universal brotherhood and social peace without a good politics? Our answer to all these questions is no. We need politics. And I am reminded of what a pope said about politics. It is the highest form of charity. It is the highest form of love. Politics is necessary, and I want to repeat here that before faced by so many miserable politics which only aim at the immediate interest, political greatness is measured in difficult moments by working on great principles and thinking of the common good in the long term. It's difficult for political power to take on this duty in the project of a nation, or even more in a common project for all of humankind, present and future. There's always a temptation to try and make everything uniform. I'm reminded of a novel, a famous novel of the early 20th century, The Lord of the World, a novel, an English...
War of the Worlds.
The War of the Worlds, an English novel which showed us a future which created more and more uniformity. It's good to read this. This reflection of mine on the effects of artificial intelligence on the future of humanity therefore leads us to the consideration of the importance of a healthy politics, to look with hope and trust to our future. As I've said previously, world society has serious structural deficiencies which cannot be solved with patches or with quick fixes. We have to go to the root of things. There are things which need to be changed with basic changes in approach and major transformations. Only a healthy politics could be able to direct this, involving many sectors and many forms of knowledge. In this way, an economy which is integrated in a political, social, cultural and popular project which aims at the common good can open the way to different opportunities which do not imply blocking human creativity and its sign of progress, but also to channel this energy in a new way. This is the case of artificial intelligence. It's up to each to make good use of it, and it's up to politics to create the conditions whereby this good use is possible and fruitful. Thank you.
Santità, grazie davvero ancora.
Your Holiness, thank you so much once again for having accepted our invitation. We wish to thank you, especially because this is the first time that a Pope takes part in a G7 meeting. Your words are a true inspiration for us all. And thank you so much for having accepted to stay on to listen to the various leaders' speeches. We're fully aware of your many engagements, and for this we're particularly grateful.
Out, so the session